We're about ready to go, aren't we?
We are.
Yes. I can't tell you where we're going because that'll be a future video.
I can tell you, headed toward Maine
Yeah.
because I need to go see my granddaughter. I'm going to go around here and close this because, you know, bug lady.
Yes.
In terms
She's a
of
buggist.
Anti-bug lady. And I do have on one of those bug zappers just to get any stragglers that thought they were going to get a free ride.
Right.
You go in there and you're not me.
That cabin just looks so tiny. It's amazing that there are 2 actual bedrooms with beds, real beds.
Yeah, full-size beds.
Okay. So,
Hi.
Ramona,
Yes.
we've been on a road trip.
Yes. Would you like to sit on the porch for a minute, or?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go sit on the porch.
Yeah, let's do that.
We will be leaving very soon. We're all loaded and ready to go. So, how about this road trip, Ramona?
Janet, I've only been full-time since October, and I've taken some trips to been to Maine, been to Texas, back and forth, all over Florida, been to meetups, even went by myself last year to Washington State, but I was, other than Mount Rushmore and the Dignity statue, I didn't really do much sightseeing because I was going to a family wedding. But this trip, I'll start to tear up. I have had so many tear up moments from just the sheer beauty of,
People need to know that. It's okay.
the sheer beauty of the planet. A lot of people like to travel and meet people, and that's great. I like to meet people too, and then I like to go away by myself for a while. But the things that we've seen, the South Dakota, and I've done that so many times, like Janet and I stop, and then I'm just looking at her going, because the mountains, the colors of the mountains, the
valleys,
the valleys, the topography, it makes me wish I'd paid more attention in geography class, geology class, because I'm more in how it makes me feel, and mostly what I think about when we're on those long, what Janet thinks are ugly rides, those boring rides where there's seems to be nothing. All through this, my brain is just constantly thinking about the first people, the indigenous people who lived here, and what their lives were like in those different regions, and then the settlers and how they went across that. I know you and I were talking at one point, is like, oh, that wouldn't be so bad, is all this, the rolling hills. But think about those Conestoga wagons were not little wagons.
No.
They were big, heavy, with humongous round tires, and you're having to go up and down and up and down, and there are critters out there that don't want you in their area. So bugs, they had them back then.
Oh, yeah.
Snakes, they had them back then. Scorpions,
Predators, big ones.
the big predators, the bears, they were there, and they were more plentiful.
Oh, by far.
And they were not afraid of people yet. So it's just been in every place I go, okay, there cannot be something more beautiful than this. And then bam. So I've just quit saying that to myself, like, this is the best. There is not the best. It's different. It's just,
It's all beautiful.
and am I ready to stop? No. And I keep pushing myself to doing things like, first of all, if you know me at all, driving has never been my thing. This is a different kind of driving. And first of all, I stop about every hour or so. I get out, I stretch, I walk around. I was telling Janet earlier, I like to go to thrift stores because they're free. they're like little free museums to me, because I just walk through and see stuff that other people had. It's like a sociological study in time. And occasionally I find things that I like to buy. A lot of my clothes come from, and a lot of my things come from thrift stores. But caveat, I have a rule: something in, something out. And that's been my rule even when I was in an apartment. If I buy a shirt, then I have to get rid of a piece of clothing. So just
Good rule.
if I buy me a new glass, then I have to get rid of another glass. So what that does is when I'm looking at buying the thing, then I will actually say to myself, okay, what's going to go out if I get this? And if I can't think of anything that's going to leave, then I don't get it.
Yeah, because it won't have a home.
Right. And then I'm also getting my steps in, because I'm just going in and browsing every aisle. They usually have a restroom.
And air conditioning.
And thrift shops crop up in the middle of nowhere in a lot of these little towns. You know, they may have odd hours, so it's lucky if you catch them open. But back to how I feel.
Now, have you had any regrets since you went full-time?
No, not one.
Neither. Not a one.
One.
It's almost 3 years for me and not a one.
I don't know. I know at some point I'll need to stop, but I don't know what or where that or when.
Me too.
That will happen. But for right now, I'm good. I managed to get my medicines through Walgreens. I only have one prescription that causes a problem. The good news is I don't use it all the time. It's a sleep aid, and it's a controlled substance. So when you fill those, they'll fill it for me, but they have to transfer the prescription from your home store to this one, and you on those controlled substances you only get one transfer. I think is the way it works. So the guy was explaining it to me, the pharmacist, and he said the work around that is just he said when you're in a area you're going to be, just call your doctor and have them call in a prescription for that same thing here. And when they call it in, we can fill it then without you having to transfer it.
It's good. That's a good suggestion, because
Yes.
people wonder about that.
Yes. And everything else, I still laugh though, because I have United Healthcare. I'm a retired Austin, Texas teacher. So I have my pension and my Medicare. I do have Medicare, but I have my health insurance and everything through the Texas retired teachers thing. So anyway, United Healthcare likes to do a annual home health visit for the old people, to make sure that we have all of our needs met and we're not going to fall and blah, 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 just checking up on us. And I did that a couple of times when I was in a home. They keep calling me, and the last time they called me, I said, I think we ought to set this up and just tell me what national park or state park do you want to meet me at, and I can show you, and we'll do all the, because they take your blood pressure and all this, but then they want to know how they want to see your potty situation
and your
shower
safe
situation. So we can do a drive-by Planet Fitness. That lady thought that was so funny. I was like, I'm happy to do it, because they give me like $25 for doing it or something. I'm like, oh, I'd love to do it, but
catch me if you can.
yeah, just tell me when and where.
Yeah, our van life is travel.
Yeah,
it's travel, and it's for travel. It's not specifically for living in our minivans.
No.
It's not. I almost don't consider I live there. However, I do. Sometimes I live in a cabin.
And sometimes, we've rented motel rooms.
Yeah.
I do that. Just like I took everything out I do that once every few months, and I use, if I'm by myself, I do it in a hotel room, and I usually will get a hotel room for 4 or 5 days.
We did that recently.
And I just hole up and watch movies and empty everything out. If I'm having to do some extensive maintenance, I'll do that. But you're right, I do it for the travel. And that's when I originally, I think it was about 2 or 3 years before I retired, I started thinking what I wanted my retirement to look like. And I wanted to visit my grandchildren frequently. And they're spread out in 3 states. So I thought, okay, RV. So I bought and lived in for a year a 24-foot Class C RV. Way too much machine for me. I did not enjoy it. I had plenty of space. It was fun fixing it up. But I didn't like to drive it. It had too many blind spots. I never felt safe. I wasn't worried about me because I figured whatever hit me, I was going to survive in that big old box. But I was worried I was going to hurt someone else's child while I was driving down the road, because people just zip in front of you, and you just have too many blind spots, and you can feel the wind, and the trucks go by and you feel them, and never ever would I have driven it on the mountain roads that we've been on.
No.
And I have to tell you that some of my biggest smiles come from driving those windy, twisty, narrow, scary, no ledge,
drop off here, or a cliff, rocks right beside you, and whatever.
No place to pull over if you have a flat.
Adrenaline.
It is an adrenaline rush, and it's just so exciting. And I know when we were on Beartooth, we got up over 11,000 feet, and it was just, the Blue Ridge was the first time that happened. And when I'm on those roads, my car's name is Mabel, and when I'm on those roads, I'm driving both, white knuckling, and I'm saying, okay, Mabel, keep your tires on, keep your engine intact.
Pay attention.
You do your part, I'll do my part. We got this. And I thank her when we survive.
This has been kind of, you seem like a person who's always had confidence, but you didn't like to drive. So this may have been a whole new thing in your life at our age.
It is, absolutely. I know my family's fascinated because it's like, how are you doing all this driving and you hate to drive? The driving I've done in my life, that's a different, first of all, I still don't like driving on the interstates. Janet will tell you. I'm like, I want to go the back roads. First of all, I'm not in a hurry, and I see more. By the way, one of my observations across the country is the number of people living in areas that have extreme weather, but they're living in mobile homes. Some of them are destroyed, some of them not, some of them new, some of them old, but I'm fascinated with that.
I think they can build some for the weather wherever they're building them. I think there's a difference in one built in Florida and one built in somewhere up north.
Maybe. In a lot of those backwoods places that we see up in those mountains, mobile homes everywhere. It isn't necessarily mobile homes, manufactured homes.
Right. Well, in Florida, some people leave them there as their winter home. Mm-hmm. So maybe a few of those were left there as their summer home. I wonder.
I don't know. I just know I think about mice and rats and squirrels and
mold
and tornadoes and
when you have to leave a home, and that's why I sold mine.
Yeah. I just think of all those things. I like seeing how they're living and what they're coming from, and I love hearing the different accents.
Yeah.
It just tickles me when I'm like, oh yeah, and when Michigan, Wisconsin, you're like, I've only ever heard that in movie. And like, oh, did you say that again?
Oh yeah, it's really good to see the slight variations in cultures. You know, sometimes they're big, very sort of big, but I mean, America's pretty homogenous as far as good people, as far as who you see in a Walmart or a gas station.
And everybody's so helpful. I haven't needed any help that much, but people smile. You know, I find, and I've found that my whole life, is I smile first because
and make eye contact.
Making eye contact, smiling, acknowledging them, you know, hey, I like that shirt.
Yeah,
you
or
know,
opening a door or reaching something on a top shelf since we're a little taller.
No matter how mean their face looks, you know, just to see even a momentary
brightness
makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So again, you know, in special ed, we were taught, be the mirror. You know, mirroring works and you're going to get what you give. And too many people say, well, you know, how come they can't be the mirror? Well, because they're not. So I try to be the mirror. So it is not, people think, oh, you're always smiling. I smile a lot, but I do have what do they call it? RBF.
What's that?
Resting bitch face.
Oh, RBF.
My mother used to tell me, I'm going to give you something to frown about if you don't take that frown off your face. I'm not frowning.
That's just my resting face.
When my face is at rest, these lines go down, and I have worry lines from being this tall, looking at the world going,
what? I get the feeling. Really?
See why Jan and I traveled.
Yeah, we didn't plan that.
No. But so I have the line that looks like I'm scowling, and then that, so people, if I don't make smile, then people think that I'm angry, and I'm not. And I figure if I'm that way, other people are that way. So
yeah, they may, you don't know what's going on in someone's life.
No. So just be the mirror.
Yeah, you make contact for that moment. You could brighten a life. For just that second, might change their day.
I think it humanizes people. It humanizes myself. It humanizes others. For us just to remember, this is a funny adventure we're on.
Yeah.
And if you can't laugh about it, then I'm sorry. You must be miserable, and I wish
it's your choice.
I wish I could help you, but I can't.
Yeah, snap out of it.
So I will be going the other way. Good luck with that. So
I always say, okay, bye.
Okay, bye. So anyway, back to our adventure. I'm ready to go. I need to be in Maine in the next couple of weeks or so.
There will be adventures along the way.
There will be adventures along the way. And more to come.
Yeah. But, okay, so, oh, poor thing. And I probably won't put this in, but I just want to do it.
All right.
A lot of times I put videos of women who are even part-time. Not, they have a beautiful home. And then I'll get comments like, oh, you poor thing, what's America doing to our older women? Oh, poor Ramona, she's got to live in the car. Oh, my God, I'm so mad at America.
Well,
so answer that comment for me, please.
Well, first of all, I understand the question.
Yes.
Because they're
trying to care, I think.
Well, yeah, and there is... across America, there's a housing shortage. There's inflation with prices, and again, I'm one of those people that think, well, corporate CEOs are making a lot of money. But anyway, not to get political again, I understand the question and what are they doing. And more needs to be done because there are a lot of senior women suffering, and there are a lot of senior women, and to be fair, senior men
Yes.
having to live in their cars because they can't afford anything else.
And they generally are stationary and cannot afford to do what you and
Yeah,
I are doing.
exactly.
We need to acknowledge that.
They're in a different situation. That is not me. That is not Janet. That's not most of the women that I meet. It is true that I cannot afford because I have my teacher pension and my Social Security. I'm very lucky. I don't have a lot of savings. I don't have IRAs and 401ks, and I don't have anything. I have an income, and I'm building a savings, but I cannot afford to live in a house and travel the way I do. So I made a choice, because when I had a house, I was traveling, I was going to the meetups and I was going to things, but I kept having to go home and then wait until I could afford to go out again. And when I was at home, I was, not wanting to go out and spend money, so, I'm twiddling my thumbs, crocheting, and watching movies. And which is fine. I enjoy being alone in my home, but I can't do both. Now, I have more income than a lot of the women that I meet, and which allows me to do things like the horseback riding and the things.
And boat rides and
boat rides,
different adventures.
and different adventures. And that's what I've started spending my money on. So to answer those women, yes, absolutely, America needs to do better by its seniors and by its children and by its citizens, period. The middle class, that's a whole nother argument. That just has very little to do with me. So it is funny, because I do meet people out there who think that I'm poor and homeless, and no, I made a choice. And so it's the same. The difference is they don't say those things and look at people and say that when they're traveling in an RV. If I was in my RV, they wouldn't look at me as pitiful. They would look at me as having an adventure.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, like my grandson Atticus told me, Grandmona, you just turned your car into a mini RV.
Yes.
Exactly. That's exactly what I've done. So I have a high-end fridge freezer, high-end power banks.
The van itself is
the
a
van
high-end.
itself is high-end. And,
you don't lack for anything, actually, right?
No.
Yeah. Because we can afford to travel, and someone who truly is homeless doesn't have that opportunity, and that's sad. But it's just like you have people who live in penthouses, and you have people who live in a horrible little apartment, and they're both apartments.
Yeah.
But you don't consider them the same. Not that we're in penthouses, but we're not down in the bottom of the dregs.
No, and I'm in something that I'm having fun.
Yes, making memories.
And there was a time in my life where I collected things. I've decided things just require dusting and cleaning and managing, and
then your kids have to figure out what to do with it.
My kids already told me. Both of my sons told me years ago. It's when I started going minimalist. That Mom, we don't understand why you're keeping all this crap, because when you die, we're not sorting through all your stuff. We are buying we're renting one of those dumpster trucks.
1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Backing it up, and we're just throwing stuff into the back of it and going.
Yeah.
The furniture, all of it. Nobody wants anything. And then one of my daughter-in-laws said that while they're doing that, I'm going to be curled up in the bed with reading your journals. So I did two things. One, I started gifting forward my stuff and rethinking what I'm keeping. Actually, three things. I also that year made for Christmas. I got decorative memory boxes, and I took every Christmas card, report card, birthday card, letter from the military, notes from teachers, pictures, everything that anybody, nieces, nephews, sisters, anybody had given me my whole life, even my photographs. And I set them all out, and I spent a whole year dividing that stuff out into those boxes. And that Christmas, I gave them their memory box. Then it was theirs to keep, burn, whatever they wanted. And that was great. So I'm no longer the keeper of the memories. And two, that was two. Then the other thing I did is, I lost my train of thought. I started tearing out pages from my journals and burning them, rereading them, blushing and going,
nobody needs to know that,
they
right?
just don't need to know that. So old letters that I had from old beaux, some of those were pretty steamy. I tore those up. So I've just thought, people don't need to know that. My grandchildren do not need to think of Grandmona in that
like that
way.
Wise, very wise.
So anyway, that's what I did, and I started that journey, and I downsized from from a 4-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom to a 1-bedroom to a car.
Yeah.
And I do have a storage unit because I do have things that I would like to have. And I was lucky. I found a drive-up, climate controlled.
That's important.
Yeah, and the fact that it's drive-up and climate controlled was impressive. It's in Florida. And
especially in Florida with humidity.
Yes, because I have albums. I used to work for a radio station, and so I have a lot of vinyl, and a lot of the vinyl I have. Do you remember the old Dick Clark radio program that would come on, and he played the oldies? It came on every week.
It was like the top something,
Yeah,
or
yeah. It was Dick Clark, and it was oldies and top. I don't even remember what the show. I'd have to look. But I worked for a radio station for a year or two, writing their radio commercials, AM and FM. And the DJs at that time, the Dick Clark show would come in on vinyl albums, and the DJs converted them to tape, and they gave me the albums. So I have a whole bunch of those, and they have the commercials in them. The national commercials are
we
in
should
them.
play that at a meetup. I don't know how you'd play it though.
I have,
Rent?
If it's in Florida, I have a record player.
Well, these ladies would remember those things at our senior women's meetups.
Oh, yeah. So I'll just have to bring that.
That's a cool idea.
I may have sold my, I do need to get another record player.
You probably rent one.
They're not that expensive.
They still sell them.
Yeah. Vinyl's made a comeback.
I'm all about the digital, as we know.
Here she is.
Tell them what I did yesterday. Do you remember what we...
Oh my God. We're looking at a brochure for this boat tour we want. And they're to sell the tickets. In this brochure, they had a fold-out map, and they had 2 places where you could go buy the tickets. And I look, and Janet is looking at it like this, and she goes... She was trying to enlarge a paper map so she could see the address better.
I'm sorry if I'm jiggling the camera. I couldn't believe it when I did it. I did it, and then that second, as my fingers went like that, they were going like that, and I couldn't believe I did it. It won't enlarge.
It makes me want to ask that teacher question. So how's that working for you?
All about the digital. The digital works
Oh, my
great for
goodness.
me. We better not.
Oh, maybe more.
Oh well.
So, anyway, I ramble. That, by the way, is the name of my YouTube channel. I do not have a YouTube channel.
She's a
public thing.
co-producer on mine.
But I did change the name from my own name on my YouTube channel to Ramona Rambles.
How about this is probably going to be a separate video,
Yeah.
which I'll put up tonight. It'll be easier to edit. So what if I call it Ramona Rambles?
You can do that. Absolutely. Yeah, I actually have written a long time ago poetry and things, and that's what I just started calling everything. Just Ramona Rambles.
That's your last name now.
That's what I do. I ramble. Pick a topic. Give her a topic.
Travel.
When I was taking my degree is in speech communication, and when we used to have speech classes where you'd have to reach in and pull a topic and then just speak for 5 minutes on that topic, and it's fascinating, and I can do that on any topic. They said 5 minutes, 5 hours, I can still be going because tangents.
Yeah, that's okay. Tangents are good. They lead you to some, just like getting lost, you can find your way around. Ooh, that's a shortcut. Or I didn't know that was there.
We've seen some awesome, sometimes I do that. We're driving along and I just, okay, I'll turn left here and just see what's up this road. And I've seen some cool stuff.
Yeah, we've had some really cool travels. Like one of them that I won't really mention yet because it's a video yet to come. We thought it was a 2-hour adventure. It reminds me of Gilligan's 3-hour tour.
Oh, my
ours
goodness.
was not as long as Gilligan's, but ours was how long?
I don't know.
Good 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
A 2-hour tour was 2 days.
We just think, oh, yeah, we'll stop by and see that. And then there's so much. Parking around Rapid City, so much to see around there.
Yeah, so much to see.
So much.
Everywhere you look's a postcard.
Yeah. And
just driving.
And I think I'm still looking for a place because I was going to tell you earlier, one of my sons asked me, he said, well, what are you going to do, Mom, if you get bored with this? And, and then what are you going to do? And I'm lucky, planned lucky. Because I do have enough money and resources that if I wanted to lease an apartment, I can just pull in and lease an apartment there. So one of the things, and I know people who are from up north go, why would you want to do that? Because I've never, and I want to experience as many things as I can before I leave the planet. Not the really bad stuff. I'm not putting that out there to the universe.
Right. All the good stuff.
Yeah, as much as I can.
So I don't believe you said where this apartment would be because you have a specific goal in mind.
I don't know, but what I want to do is I want to experience a Yankee winter, a northern winter. So I don't want to drive in the winter up here, ice and snow. I'm not doing that. So I'm looking for a place that's a relatively small community, but it's not too far if I had to be, airlifted out.
Right.
And that if I had to, somebody would be willing to get groceries or something for me. But I can hole up somewhere because I can be alone for months at a time by myself, and I'm just fine. Internet helps, not critical, but internet helps.
Or books and books and books.
I have books. I also have DVD movies.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I have CDs, DVDs, albums, and books, and pen and paper, and
knitting,
crocheting. And so anyway, one of the places that has caught my eye so far, I think either Deadwood or Cody. And I'm thinking in terms of either one of those, releasing for a year, and I'm really thinking about Cody leasing a place for a year because I could get my family to come visit me sometime in that year and let them branch out and see some of the stuff and not have to pay for housing.
Oh, yeah.
If they can just get there.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, things on Ramona's mind.
Your playlist.
My playlist.
Yeah.
Those are what I think about. Because I would love to share with my family things I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stuff I didn't even know existed.
Isn't it nice at our age we can still be learning and having new experiences?
Build those neurons.
Yes, synapses.
Yep. All right.
Highly recommended. Okay, any advice for people watching this, senior women? Because there's some people who should be on the road and some people sadly should not. And I don't want to ever look like I'm just recruiting people that really shouldn't.
First of all,
things to consider.
I think that it's important to avoid should and shouldn'ts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know you, and you don't know me. So what you have to make decisions for yourself. But if you're a person who can't think on a dime and go with the flow and change, if you need everything in order, regimented, planned out 100%, and the plans can't change, the lifestyle's probably not for you, because we have our routines, but those routines can change. Your routines can change when you're at home, but if being stranded for a bit while you problem solve is going to send you into mental breakdown,
like that one time that we were 3 days
because
that one parking lot because I had problems, and that'll be another video.
yeah, exactly. So if flexibility is not in your personality and you don't see that changing, then maybe it's best for you to figure out how to enjoy your life with a hard shell routine,
an immovable object,
routine,
Yes.
And I think that's because
we're talking about people that may have recognized that they have a certain degree of anxiety over a lot of things, and we would not want you to stress yourself out to a health issue.
Yes, exactly. And even though I do have PTSD from child abuse issues, trauma. I am a child of the system. I was a foster child from 13 to when I graduated. And but I learned early that I'm in control of nothing. And so it's in my personality and my survival instinct to whatever happens, I can take a beat and figure out what needs to happen next. And I also can go, or I can stop.
Flexible. You don't break down.
No, it's not. And, things don't shock me, irritate me, annoy me. I used to tell my students that all the time, like, Miss, they'd say, Miss, how come we can't shock you? It's like, you can annoy me, you can irritate me, I can even feel anger. You may not know that. I'm not going to show you that, but nothing shocks me because it's a crazy world. But I guess again, I'm not going to tell somebody else. I found advice. Here's my best advice. People used to come to me, young people used to say, "Oh, we hear you give good advice, Ramona." And I got really tired of always giving advice because it seemed to me the same problems everybody had the same problems, and they usually generated around them trying to control other people. So my best advice to everyone in the world is keep your drama low. And if you can't, keep it far, far from me.
That's a good philosophy.
So I can't tell other people what they can and can't do, but neither do I want someone to go, well, if Ramona can do it, I can do it. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, experiment, don't jump.
Yeah, and what I would do is if you have a car, go camp, do this, treat your area like you're a tourist. Figure out a way to sleep, pee, and eat in your car. And I would suggest covering the windows. Now, I see a lot of people, like making things and doing things. That's not me. If there's a way for me to buy something already done, I'm that person because I have those resources. And I just don't want to be making window coverings. And I don't make, as you saw in the video, I don't make my place look really cute. That cute quilt I have on my bed, that's the same quilt I've had for 20 years. So
Functional.
yeah, it works. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Don't just jump. Think hard about it. You think about your personality. Try it out first.
Yeah, you know you better than anybody else. You know you know your resources. I would say that I would start thinking, no matter what age you are, there's a future you, and don't screw over your future you. She's, or he, is depending on you to make right decisions. So if you haven't made right decisions in the past, start today. If you buy yourself a cup of coffee from Starbucks or wherever, buy your future self a cup of coffee, and you do that by just sticking the $5 over in savings. I started doing that, and that's one of the ways I built up my savings. I would not let myself retire until I was 100% debt free.
That's a good point for people who wanted to do van life. You are so much, I know not everybody can, but that should be a big goal, be debt free.
Yeah, because if you think that you're going to live in your car and save money,
Not traveling, you won't.
no, you're not, because gas cost, car maintenance cost, good tires cost, everything.
You're going to want to do things along the way.
You're going to want to do things, and I don't care how much you think you're going to cook gourmet meals in that car. You're going to want to drive through Chick-fil-A or Popeyes or McDonald's
or eat at a Cracker Barrel, which you should if you stay there.
Yes, or eat at Cracker Barrel. I love Cracker Barrel. And so it adds up. And, like that horseback ride I went on, that was $120. Loved it. Fighting the urge. There are some, I could do that around here, but fighting the urge because I'm headed to Maine, so I'm trying not to spend my money. I want to do some things with my granddaughter. So that's the other thing I've started with Christmas presents, and do that for yourself. Get yourself presents, your future self. The chargers, hand warmers, the bug zappers, the dehumidifiers, all those little things, just make yourself a little box and catch them on sale.
Yeah, I did that for more than a year before I sold my house, and either that or I put it in a folder in Amazon, of a wish list of things to get.
Yeah.
But I bought a lot of things before I ever even bought my van.
I've started giving those things as Christmas presents. So either now when I give presents to family, I really think in terms of something they could use camping or even in their own homes when power outages happen, in inclement weather, or what was I going to say? Or experiences. I told my grandchildren recently that their presents, I want to be where I can take them and go and do something with them. So.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
But think in terms of if you're 70, there's an 80-year-old you. There's a 90-year-old you. There could even be a 100-year-old you.
These days.
Maybe we can't go back and kick our younger selves for not thinking of us, Ramona, younger. But by the time I finally did get that mindset of trying to take care of my future self, it paid off. The getting debt free. And I highly recommend, if you have a lot of debt and you just can't see an end to it. I was in that situation. There was one time, because I was one of those people that got, because of medical, I had surgeries and things, and ended up having to declare bankruptcy because there was no way out. And so I did that once years ago, and then of course came out of that, survived it, got my credit rating back up, got credit again, and then the one thing that could not be included in that was my student loans. And I was 35 years old, divorced with 2 kids in tow when I graduated college, and we lived on my loans for college and for feeding my children, and I had all that debt to pay back. And then I never had high paying jobs. My jobs, I didn't have enough money. People say, well, you took the loan, you should have considered that. That's true, but I didn't know about inflation, and I didn't come from, again, child of the system. System needs to do better teaching children about finances, just saying. So I ended up building debt up again and having my student loans. And I got my loan, I made payments. There's a program, you do 120 payments of a certain amount, and then they forgive the rest for public servants. So if you're in a teaching job or a public servant job, get into that. And I stayed until, I didn't let myself retire until that program was off. And those programs have been in the news a lot because they were cumbersome and they tricked people. And so you have to really be super anal about checking, reading the fine print, getting things in writing, calling them on stuff, checking your balances, because it took years and they were always messing it up, and I always had to get it straightened out again. But I stayed on top of it. And then I also went through a credit repair company where they made me close all my credit cards, and they got some reduced payments, some not, but it was like a consolidation thing where they went on. And that program helped me so much. I was diligent about it, paid everything off. Those same companies, by the way, keep sending me credit card. They're trying to get me back. You're not sucking me back into your credit scams, which I think credit cards are a scam. So I have 2 for emergencies and stuff. Anyway, so get debt free if you can, and if you can't, then don't come out here. Because unless you have a way to generate income, And could I go and generate more income? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. I could do a YouTube channel. No, thank you. I see what you other YouTubers go through. That looks like work to me.
It can be.
Plus that drama thing, keeping it away from me thing. I'm serious about that. And so.
She doesn't have to answer the comments, in other words.
No, because I don't understand. I do understand. I choose not to discuss what I understand. But it's like.
I get it.
Yeah, I get it, and I don't want it.
Right.
So
don't ask for her channel. You can see her once in a while online.
If you want to go look at Ramona Rambles, feel free. I don't even know what's there now. I just randomly every once in a while go, oh, I think I'll try this. Usually late at night, like, oh, Janet said I could put that on there. Oh, I might. So, anyway.
In conclusion,
good luck with that.
I think we've come to a lot of conclusions in this video, so we don't need a conclusion, do we? Other than thanks for watching all the way through. Leave some lovely comments. You can even leave questions, and either Ramona will answer them, maybe, not necessarily, but I will for sure answer comments.
If I see a question on there, I try to answer it. If it's a question directed for Janet that she's answered a bazillion times, I might answer it for you. The other thing I was going to say, if when you're looking at the videos of the things that she showed you in my car, if you have any questions,
that video will be later, by the way. This one's going up first.
Yeah, if you have any questions about something that we didn't mention, feel free to ask. I'll answer it. However, if you feel the need to say, oh, I would have done it this way, oh, that's not for me, oh, then that comes under that heading of good luck with that.
Yeah.
Just like I don't understand why people feel the need to say when they're looking at videos of, oh, well, I would have, well, okay, why don't you make a video of that?
Yeah.
And then we'll look at it.
That works for you. Great.
Yeah. It's like, okay.
And please don't feel sorry for Ramona, because we are having a blast.
Oh, no.
That's the worst thing you could do, because don't waste go find somebody who needs you.
Yeah,
we don't need that.
I'm not a senior woman in distress.
Uh-oh.
I forgot. I started to tell you that earlier. The woman at a laundromat, I had just come out of the National Forest in Washington after camping for a week. And my car was a mess. I was a mess. So, and I hadn't showered or washed my hair yet.
So you kind of looked a little homeless.
I did. And so I was doing my laundry and working on the car and stuff. And this woman handed me, she came out and I was busy. And she hands me a roll of quarters. And I'm a human being. If someone hands me something, my instinct is I take it. So as I'm taking it, I said, what is this for? I thought she was needing change or wanted me to give her a 20 for, or a 10 or whatever it was for that. I thought she was needing some kind of exchange. And then when I said, wait, what is this? And she starts explaining to me about how well she and her husband's business is doing, and
she's paying it forward,
and she's paying it forward, and blah, blah, and then I realized, oh, she thinks I'm homeless. She's trying to give me money, and so I started trying to hand it back to her, and she's like, oh, no, that's for you. I promise, we don't need it. Blah blah blah, and I said, well, I don't need it. And she was like, and so I just paid it forward myself. I was like, let the lady have her moment.
Yeah, she'll go home and enjoy that thought. So that's okay.
Yeah. So,
but we are having the time of our life, and it's by our choice. We're for van life. We're living the life of luxury. We are in Taj Mahals for van life. I mean, compared to homeless, certainly. I mean, there's all different levels. There's $1 million and more probably class A's and extremely expensive, all kinds of things. But we have reasons why we don't want that. For me, I can't climb in and out. So for us, these are the Taj Mahals of travel. They're the easiest, cheapest, most luxury way for the ride and the way it drives. They are luxury.
I do. I have heated wheel, heated seat,
Steering wheel.
The steering wheel.
Heated seats. Yeah, air conditioned seats.
The lumbar support that can go up or down. You know, the little adjustment thing.
You're not driving a truck. You're driving a luxury machine, a computer.
Yeah.
Just
having fun. I will say, one of my sons told me, he's like, well, Mom, the reason people think you're homeless is you just dress like you're homeless. And I say this the same way I've said it for years, even when I did not live in my car, is I dress for my comfort.
Yeah, I'm sorry it doesn't please you.
I am not dressing. The days of my dressing for someone to please someone else's eyes over. I wear the boots because they
because bugs.
Because bugs. By the way, if you get boots like this and you're out in the national forest, put Vicks Vapor Rub all over them, and that's actually old Vicks on here. And it keeps ticks and things from jumping on there. But I also wear the compression socks. So I have those on. And then just loose clothing. And my vests are my purse. And so I have everything I need in here. And my hair is clean. And I don't worry about fixing it. And I don't do makeup. I haven't done makeup in 40 years.
Really? Oh, I was big on that. It was the culture I was raised in. We were all girls, and we just did our girly thing. I don't have to do that anymore.
I was too, but I have my hands on my face too much, and I love doing this.
Yeah.
And so I would have to reapply makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like my earrings. Oh, get a close up. You see my little butterfly studs?
Yeah, a little shine there. Those are pretty.
Love these. So I wear those and my ring, my watch, little lipstick. No lipstick on right now, but and that's it.
Because we're in travel mode.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we are.
And can I dress up? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to dress up every day for everything. If I went to the store, I didn't dress up. I don't know but for now it would be called dressing up. What I used to wear all the time, I wore suits that had to be dry cleaned. I wore pantyhose and makeup and did my hair every day. I did my hair every day so much that I didn't know I had curly hair. Now there's a story for you. I don't have tight curls, but I certainly have some curl to my hair, and I didn't even know that because every day I did my hair. So that's, and now I don't have to.
Yeah.
Nope.
Other than yanking the hair out of my
chin,
and clipping a nail that breaks.
It's all natural.
For the most part.
Yeah, this is.
I'm a low maintenance girl.
Me too. This is my best life. I am living my best life.
Me too.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, let's go.
Yes, we have to go. In fact, they'll run us out pretty soon because we're probably after 11. So thanks everybody for watching to the end, and we'll see you next time. So bye.